Hey, what's up guys? Welcome back to round 3 between Idra and Select, and before I even introduce the players, I don't even need to because I've already done it so many times. Before I even talk about anything, I'm going to look at Select and see if he's going to cheese Idra. I mean, okay, no command center lifting off. That's a good sign of you know, a possible macro game here. We're just going to keep our eyes on the SCV count. We'll see if he builds a barracks on 10. We'll see if he saves up 150 minerals, obviously for a 2 barracks rush at 10, because at this point, everything's out the door. I mean, throw everything you knew about Select away, and seriously, this is just a boiling pot now, because Select can cook up anything he wants. He can throw anything inside that pot, and out will come some kind of a magical, I don't know, a magical recipe for disaster against Idra, because at this point, Select is just, he's capable of anything. And the funny thing is Idra knows this. He knows that he's been cheesed 2 times in a row. Now, granted, the series is tied up 1-1 because Idra held off the cheese in the second game. But that has got to affect the mindset of Idra, because getting cheese like that 2 times in a row, that's pretty scary. And I wonder now, especially on this map, if Idra is going to go for that 15 hash. It looks like he's going to do it. I don't see a spawning. I don't see him saving for a spawning pool, and it looks like he is. Yeah, he's going to go for a 14 hatch this time, actually. So, you know what? Idra not scared, not deterred. I was just gonna say, you know, it's gotta be affecting his mindset, but Idra's a little bit smarter than that. He knows that the moment that he lets Select get under his skin, then Select has already won half the game. So he can't let Select do that. He's keeping a cool head. He's sticking to his game plan, because you know what? At any moment in time, Select can just revert back to normal macro play. And if Idra does not stay with his standard game, and he changes his build order for the worse, then he's going to be in such a terrible position. Now look at this. The bunker's coming up, but Select, it doesn't look like he's cheesing this time. It's totally normal. 1 Rax with 1 gas. It looks like he's going to go into reactored Hellions here, because, well, at some point, I'm assuming he's going to throw down the factory because he got the gas. But this bunker is just a feign. It's just a feign, and he's hoping that Idra overreacts. Obviously, at this point, there's nothing for Idra to react to, because, well, there's nothing for Idra to react with, because he doesn't have a spawning pool yet. But yeah, that bunker will not be able to do much. The drone is sicked on that bunker, and eventually it will go down. That drone is doing some serious work there. 5 damage per shot, and the SCV comes back to finish the repairs. And a lot of drones being pulled off the line right there, but that's okay, because Idra, a smart player, pulls them off as the hatchery was finished, and essentially that was just a quick Maynard. So now the factory comes down, and Select, yeah, he is going to go for reactored Hellions. So yeah, I guess Select is going to play a macro game here, and if there was ever a map to play a macro game on, certainly this is the map to do it on. It makes a lot of sense to me now why Select kind of cheesed Idra, because on the last game it's Metalopolis, and it's a pretty iffy map for Terran. It's certainly a Zerg favorite map, so maybe Select just didn't want to deal with it, and he just wanted to cheese Idra's pants off. Shattered Temple, it's a decent map. It's pretty fair and balanced, but maybe, you know, Select just wanted to start things off with a bang. Certainly got his wish. So now this is actually a pretty Terran favorite map, and I'm not surprised that, nice raise on the supply depot, you shall not pass, but I'm not surprised that Select is playing standard here. 1 barracks, 1 factory, expand, totally normal, and he's going to go reactored Hellions. So for once now, I guess we're going to see a macro game here, which is what I was really excited and looking forward to seeing between these two, because Select's macro is pretty impeccable. It's pretty darn spot on. Haven't seen too many faults on his side before. One of the best Korean-born foreigners now competing in Starcraft 2. And of course, Idra, don't really need to say much about him. Very good macro as well. And here comes those Hellions. 2 initial Hellions coming in for Select. Now, these Hellions are just geared to do a little bit of damage, mainly to poke in and do a little scouting, and perhaps deny a creep tumor, and they are going to get that creep tumor. Oh! Great use of the high weeds right there. He just barely hightailed it away behind those high weeds and got away from the queens with that Hellion at, well, basically 2 hit points. So he gets out of there. He will send that Hellion back for repairs, and he still has 3 fresh Hellions to do some more damage. Now, the crawler placement for Idra pretty good. He has coverage with queens and crawlers, and I don't see these Hellions going in and doing too much more damage. So essentially now the key is, what is Select going to do at this point? Is he going to play a macro game? Is he going to kick it into you know, mass biomech? Because that's what I'm assuming he's going to do. And what is Idra going to do? Is Idra going to play, you know, standard macro? interestingly enough, his lair seems a little late, and actually the speed is super delayed. Wow. He's just now getting the gas on 40 supply, so the speed here pretty late, I would imagine. At 7 minutes in, he's really not going to have anything to deal with these 6 Hellions. 5 Hellions, scratch that. And Select is going to go right in here and do a lot of damage. There is no speed upgrade, and Idra's got to hold the ramp here. It looks like he will be able to do it just barely. Nice crawler placement, nice Zerglings coming to the rescue at the front of the ramp, not allowing those Hellions to get inside the main, because you all know, once those toasty Hellions are inside your mineral line, your drones are done for. So, Idra able to make a key hold right there despite not having the upgrades on his side. And I'm wondering now why his speed is so late. That really seems like a late speed to me. You know, 7-8 minutes in, still doesn't have speed for his Zerglings. Typically, a Zerg player has speed around the time that those Hellions are around the number 4. When 4 Hellions are knocking at your front door, you should have speed. And right now, as a result, you know, Select's just able to constantly deny the creep tumors. He can contain the Zerg player for a very long time. Look at the comsat going down. And he will be able to pick off all these tumors. Easy peasy. Boom! So Select is going to pretty much contain Idra here, which is really the job of the Zerg player to do at this moment in most Zerg versus Terrans. So consider that Select has already got the map on his side, and now he's got the mid game going for him as well. And Select is just rolling right now. He is doing quite well for himself. Just now getting a Baneling Nest for Idra. He just had speed kick in for his Zerglings. So we'll see what Idra is going to be able to do at this point, but he is certainly suffering right now. Excuse my squeaky chair, guys. I am sitting on a very cheap Costco chair. I can't afford a nice chair from Costco, so maybe one day, but for now I'm just sitting on this kind of cheap plastic chair, and it makes a lot of noise from time to time. My apologies, but it looks like Idra going to run in here with the Zerglings once again. He does not get any kills, just one, so nothing too serious right there. And Select is going to push out now with a lot of Hellions, a couple Marines, and a medevac. And this is a pretty good timing push from Select. I'm not sure how Idra is going to be able to hold this off. This is looking pretty bad for him. I mean, honestly, Idra just really fell way behind by not having the gas. How do you do this as a Zerg player? I mean, this is just like a diamond level mistake if you ask me. You cannot forget to get your speed against a Terran player, especially Select, especially on this map. And now this push is going to be so devastating. Banelings are super late now. Baneling speed is more delayed as well. And I think Select is just going to roll Idra at this point. I don't see how he holds this off. He's got 24 lings on the way, but the crawler at the front is going to go down. Queen spits out some larvae on the hatchery. I think he should have saved that for a health transfuse. And it looks like the Baneling's getting in there just in the nick of time. Might be enough. There's a stim going down, and Select will be able to push back. And of course, he can stim quite liberally because he has one medevac for about almost every 2 Marines. He's got a medevac, and so he's got these Marines stutter stepping away from these Zerglings. Great micro right here from Select. He can actually hold the line here because he brought some Hellions in the back to help protect the Marines as well. And Select is just getting his money's worth with these Marines. My god, they did a lot of damage. And let's just check the kills. 6 kills. That guy's a corporal. That guy's 5 kills. That guy's 3 kills. 3 kills. All these Marines are eligible for an upgrade to a ghost at some point in their careers. And more Marines are coming in right now. They will actually kill off this third hatchery. And there's a problem, really. If you don't kill off these rocks initially, how are you going to protect this hatchery? And even a siege tank brought up in here. How'd that guy get there? So, Select has got a huge position against Idra right now in this game, and I don't know what Idra's going to be able to do to get back in it. He actually has a couple of Banelings waiting in the little secret hallway. He may be able to get a little attack into the mineral line right now, running in some Zerglings and Banelings. He strikes the tank and takes it down with all of his right and math, and actually kills off everything in the middle of the field. Incredible play from Idra, and I can't believe it. He just destroyed the entire entire Terran army as it was retreating. I don't know how Idra got those forces on the field. That was incredible, considering how far behind Idra really was. And just like that, he has taken control back in this game. What just happened? That was amazing. And now Idra running in with his Mutalisk. He's got control of this field, but he cannot run into those Marines. He's just throwing everything away back into the game, but at the same time, he runs his Banelings into the mineral line as Select was occupied with dealing with the Mutalisk. So Idra trying to distract Select, I guess, with the Mutas in the main, and then he ran the Banelings inside. I don't know how many workers he killed because the colors are right, so he only killed 8 workers total. Nothing too devastating. But gosh, Idra getting up in there and doing some good damage. Yeah, he lost a couple of Mutalisks, but I think it was well worth it to get those Banelings to detonate on 8 or so SCVs. And at this point, unbelievably, it actually looks like a pretty even game with the Zerg player about to get his third base up and coming. He's up by about 10 supply. He really needs to spend that money, though. He's got so many minerals banked up. And, you know, 1,000 minerals, that's what... If I could do my math quickly, I think that's like 40 Zerglings or something like that. I know someone down in the comments is going to be correcting me. They're going to be like, no, HD, it's not. It's like blah, 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 because this math and this math. Yes, I know. So, I think it's 40, though. But, yeah, it looks like Idra going to run in with this Mutalisk once again. Oh, sorry, guys. He's got to be careful about those Marines, though, because now they have, what, 1 weapons on their Gauss rifles. Very powerful, very devastating. Baneling's unable to hit their mark. Only a couple Marines going down. Idra's just going to call the GG. Wow. So he saw the Terran player. He saw Select getting the gold, and he just raised his hands up. He's like, I give up. I surrender. You win. I'm not even going to try. So that's that. I felt like Idra certainly had a shot. And, you know, it was a pretty even game until Select got this gold and until those Banelings were unable to hit those Marines. But that's the thing about Idra, you know, he will leave the game if he feels like he's at enough of a disadvantage. He just says, you know what, I messed up, let's go to the next game, and that's his mindset. So that's that, guys. That was game number 3, and right now Select holds the advantage over Idra. It's actually 2-1 in favor of Dignitas Select, and we'll have to see if Evil Genius's Idra can bring it back in the next game. But great series so far. We started the night off with cheese, and then we had even more cheese, and then we had a macro game, and Idra just kind of defeating himself. So that's that. Let's go on to game 4 and find out what happens next.